They were wonderful. They were absolutely wonderful. So it's good to be home. It is good to be home. And I want to, of course, point out the extraordinary leadership of Dr. Rose and Renee and the board. And thank you all for this invitation to join you yet again. My apologies. I'm not able to stay here for the duration of the day. I have a commitment back in DC, but I have the amazing HUD team that is here, Julian Joseph, who's a senior advisor to me, the highest ranking career official that HUD has in this region, Tiffany Cobb, and our field office director, Shay Johnson. Let's hear it for the HUD team. And you all should get to know Tiffany and Shay because Julian and I are short timers, so to speak, but they will be holding down HUD's work, and they are our senior career employees. I know in uncertain times like these, many of us are concerned and justifiably worried about what the future of housing will look like. I wanted to make sure that I came here to see you today, to make sure that you knew that HUD, in Marcia Fudge's leadership and now my leadership, we have poured ourselves into the infrastructure of the right things to do in the department that I think will be strong and will be sustainable. And I wanted to share that with you because of the work that we have done over the past 4 years. And we are leaving a legacy behind that I know can sustain some blows. We are looking at ways to make sure that we're helping people stay in their homes. So those of you who journeyed with us in 2021 and 2022 as we were executing our loss mitigation waterfall, we will be cementing that into our rules. We are working really hard to make sure that we're continuing to reduce barriers to credit and expand access to credit, and so much of that work is already cemented in what we are leaving behind. The work that FHA and Ginnie Mae are doing to ensure that there is liquidity so that we can have more affordable homeownership across the country, especially for Black and Brown folks, is cemented at the department. Our work to continue housing supply is cemented, and I do believe will move forward as well. The work that we've done to create and sustain generational wealth through our appraisal bias, I will say to the family, it's cemented now, but it's the kind of work that we've done that I do have concern will be moved backwards in the weeks and months and years to come. And I'll come back to that in 1 second. But I will say it was just this past July that HUD charged its first case alleging discriminatory appraisal. An appraiser in the Denver area lowball a duplex that's owned by a Black woman in a predominantly white neighborhood. And that's been our first case that DOJ has brought to make sure that we're creating a system where these acts are no longer ignored. And there is a body of work to build on to do right by folk. And that is worth an applause. Notwithstanding all of that, HUD has helped nearly 3 million American families become first-time homeowners. Let me say that again. We have helped 3 million American families become first-time home buyers. When you think about the context of what's happening in our homeownership ecosystem, you know that was hard fought. And I'm excited about the report that we are releasing today. We are releasing our annual, what I call our FHA report. We have to send it to Congress every year, this time of the year. And it's telling us that our FHA fund is strong, which means that we will be able to continue to help Black and Brown folk become first-time homeowners for years to come because we've worked on that fund to keep it healthy. The other thing that I'm very sure of is the work that the career staff has done to make sure that our systems are built to help people who had previously experienced barriers, whether that was their student debt, whether that was how we're looking at underwriting and making sure we're using things like on-time rental payments toward our work. And I want to take this point to thank Julian Joseph for the work that she did when she was running single family at HUD and the authorship she had on some of those things. Thank you, Julian. But here's the thing, and your report will speak to it. There's still too many folks, and too many folk that look like us, who believe that the government systems just don't have their back. And I think we experienced some of that with a recent election. And maybe it's because they don't have enough money for down payment, or they don't have a strong credit history, or they have too much money that they owe in student loan debt. There are too many, particularly young people, 20-somethings or 30-somethings, the folks that we're going to have to rely on to keep our work going strong, are quietly losing faith in what we do and what we believe in. So it is my dearest hope, my friends, that even as the Biden-Harris administration reaches its sunset, that the work that you are doing every single day in your community, all the time, that you're continuing to do the work that over the next 4 years, I know we're going to need to make sure our young people have hope to reach America's promise. Those of us will be there speaking our truth in our different perches, but it's going to be strong groups like NAREB who, decade after decade, you have seen ugly before, haven't you? Yes. You have seen ugly before. So I have faith that you all will be able to carry on some of the work that this administration did, that this HUD did. And we're going to meet you in the back end when we come back. Let me talk a little bit about some of that work. In addition to the things we've done for homeownership, just last week we mentioned and we announced that we've reduced homelessness amongst veterans at a historic level. That even though we're having a housing supply issue, we have brought on almost 2 million units of housing. This is the most units that have been under construction in decades. And while we still need more, we have achieved that. And I want you to know that the work that we're doing in fair housing, not just the appraisal bias work, which is so critical to making sure we are sustaining Black generational wealth, but the work that we're doing in fair housing, taking on bad actors, making sure that communities are using our funds in the right way, that work continues. But I dare say, that is also work I need you all to help keep an eye on for me. You got me? Keep an eye on it. Because when I came into the department in 2021, when I was confirmed, that shop was the one that was most dysfunctional, but intentionally. So as we do this work from different places and spaces, I'm going to rely on you all to keep speaking the truth. Look, let me wrap up because I want to speak to my sister here. A number of people checked in on me the day after the election, and I appreciate that. I woke up and I got a strong cup of coffee. I didn't put anything in it. I had a strong cup of coffee and I sat and I watched the sun come out. And then I did it again the next day. I watched that sun come out. And I did it the next day. And I watched that sun come up. And with each sunrise, I realized I was experiencing more hope about what we had to do and what we had to be over the next several years. And what I know is that we can't give up, can we? No. We can't give up. Look, Malcolm and Martin would not sacrifice for us to give up. Dorothy, Ida, and Coretta did not hope and dream
Come on.
for us to give up. John Lewis wasn't beat up and bloody and then served admirably in Congress for us to give up. And our vice president didn't fight for us to give up. So we're gonna get some rest. Have our coffee, maybe something else. We're gonna get our strength back, and get our backbone together, put our head up, and we're gonna make sure that there's gonna be a sunrise when we get back to work. I want to thank you all, Adrianne, for what you do every single day and the partnership that we've created.
One hand clap, please. We're gonna go right into this fireside chat.